Many researchers have found Ron Griffiths' research teaching nexus useful in understanding the relationship between research and teaching. One of those who have seen the potential of Griffiths' work is the educational scholar Mick Healey. Based on Griffiths' work, he has therefore developed the following general model that shows how research-based teaching and learning is expressed in practice. So here's the model. To make it more accurate, I have slightly modified this model, but the content still corresponds to Healey's original model. It is worth emphasizing that what Griffith described as research-informed has become research-tutored in Healey's model. The focus now shifts from the teacher to the students and their efforts to review their own learning and research. This means that the focus is primarily on the students reviewing the texts and work they have produced themselves, for example, through peer learning. The model has a vertical axis that points to student and teacher engagement, respectively. The horizontal line then focuses on the research content and the research process. Depending on which perspective that Griffiths research is, which perspective that is treated in Griffiths research, the different perspectives will thus be placed in different places depending on how they relate to these two poles. Note that only one corner, again, is perceived as research-based according to this model. For our purposes, as I already mentioned in the previous video, it is important to again point out that all these corners are an expression of research-based teaching and learning, regardless of Griffiths or Healey's definition. If you teach the latest research, as in the bottom left corner, then your teaching is research-based. If you have students read and reflect on research literature or their own work, as in the top left corner, then your teaching is research-based. And if you teach about how knowledge is produced in your subject area, as in the bottom corner on the right, then your teaching is research-based. And given that Griffiths was talking about research-informed rather than research-tutored, it can be said that when teachers in universities and other higher education institutions use research on learning to find the most appropriate teaching methods, then teaching is research-based. What the model thus shows is several different ways in which research-based teaching and learning is expressed. Everything is research-based. But the connection between research and teaching is expressed in different ways by emphasizing different things and giving the students a more active or passive role. How the different subject areas interpret these different ways of expressing research-based teaching and learning and how they value them will also vary. But in general, all disciplines that have or at least want to make their teaching research-based will move within this field. Again, all of this expresses a research-based approach to teaching. However, Griffiths' categorization can be interpreted as indicating that by naming a teaching practice as research-based, he is also pointing to a progression in relation to research-based teaching and learning. The aim is to make students go to a higher level of knowledge and learning, where they become researchers themselves, at least at a basic level. This progression in research-based teaching and learning is also evident in Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy. So to it, we now turn.